Hi, I'm Donna Dewberry, the original creator of the FolkArt one-stroke painting technique. Welcome to the Let's Paint Studio right here at Plaid. Learning to paint has never been as easy as when I teach you how to load a brush with multiple colors where you can blend, shade, and highlight with one stroke of the brush. Our new program with Let's Paint FolkArt One Stroke this year is going to be all about learning how to paint 50 different types of flowers. And as you can imagine, 50 flowers makes the possibility endless to be able to paint floral designs. I'm thrilled that you've chosen to join me on this one-stroke journey. So let's paint. I'm excited to paint a ranunculus with you today, and I have had a hard time saying that name, so I always love these roses though. We just used them in a wedding. And we're gonna practice these so we can paint them. And we're using a reusable teaching guide, FolkArt multi-surface paint. And let me share those colors with you, which you probably won't believe they're in here, but magenta, wicker white, moon yellow, and apple red. Then we're using citrus green and sap green for the leaves. And so when you're looking at these, I want you to see they're in my double loader, and that's going to help you load well. And loading well is going to be important for your one-stroke journey here. So the first thing we're going to do is show you the two FolkArt one-stroke brushes we're using. We're using a 12 flat and a 1 script liner. And we're going to pick up the colors here. It's going to tell you right here what to use. To get that coral color, we're mixing moon yellow, apple red, and wicker white. So moon yellow and apple red first. See, we're going to split the brush into that double loader, work that in. All right. So I bet you thought it was a pink, huh? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to add wicker white to the yellow, all right, and work this in. And we're going to pick up more and more until we get that color that we want. All right. Now, when you first pick up, we're picking up to work it into the middle, and then from then on, we are picking up just to blend on the surface of the brush, okay? So see how we're getting a coral look, which means you've got to work this red, apple red, in to the yellows and all to get that color. Now, so I'm gonna push the brush down and stroke it. And see, we don't see a bright red anymore. That's what we want to happen here. So I'm gonna lean my brush for the camera, but when you're standing this up, straight up and down and putting pressure, it will fill that stroke for you, all right? So we're gonna come around here and do your first skirt on your flower. And so as you're coming around, I'm gonna keep moving this in the round, spinning it around so you can comfortably keep the yellow tones on the outside there. Okay? So I say that these are kind of choppy, chop strokes, okay? So then when we're coming in to do the next ones, we're gonna make the second row go right here where you were loading. There's plenty of paint there still. And you're gonna come around. Now there's a stroke that you need to learn in here. So we're going to use our wet wipe or wet paper towel. But I want you to see that we're working all these back layers. And so when we do these layers, we're going to come right along here and then another. They have very thin little layers in this rose, all right, really thin ones. And then after we get all that in there and we're wanting to have a nice center, sometimes I'll just pick up yellow, moon yellow here, and we're going to come right in here, make it tight. They're really wound tight, literally, right in here. And then the next one, see, so now I'm losing my color. There, you want to be able to see all the color. And you keep working this around, all right? And just keep laying your brush like this as we're coming around. And then at the very end, you're going to be chiseling, which this is a chisel of your brush. So look, I'm going to stand up and chisel these little lines around as many as you want to make this a tight little wound up rose. I then take a little bit of magenta on the corner, and I like making the center a little right here. And then we can put a little bit of yellow or citrus green in the middle. All right, so this skirts first, then that goes inside. This is your center, and then there's the leaves that we will all add those later. All right, so I'm gonna wipe this off. We don't want it to dry on your teaching guide while we're painting. And we're going to, so let's look at what the bouquet is that we want to have. So in some of these we kept the red a little bit stronger, and then this one I picked up a little bit of magenta more, and then this was just a paler version. So as you're painting them, I want this to be right in front of you, so like you remember the layout of how to build that flower. So we're picking up moon yellow and apple red. Got to get some white in here. White actually goes across all of that color. Okay, and that is pretty much that color that we have. So you can practice it there to remind yourself. Okay, and then we're going to get lighter and more pink ones as we go. So this is the outer layer, skirt, or whatever you want to call it there. And then I'm going to keep picking up, and every once in a while I might do yellow and moon yellow and white. Okay, let's get this first one. Thin layers. They're not very ruffled, okay? Tight middle. Then we come in with the magenta. And then some moon yellow, and I'm just using the corner. You can use a script liner, but the corner works good for this. All right, so I don't want as many of these ruffles on the outside because these roses are pretty darn tight. All right, so we're going to come right here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of magenta. Now we're going to do one that is hanging down a little bit, and these are, you can see where the centers are facing. This one's going to face down some. Okay, so let's practice we got the centers to do here when we get some of the green on our brush. And we're going to practice doing these leaves now. So I'm going to pick up some magenta and then grab the citrus green and sap green and work those in. Citrus and sap greens. We're going to pick up some magenta. A little bit more magenta. And I love the way these leaves look. So see, you even look like you have a big ball of paint there, but a lot of paint's good, all right? We're going to go along here, need a little bit more of that magenta. All right, so as you're doing this now, instead of, I usually do a V, this one's hanging downward. All right, so finally that color got really good there. And the sap's in the center. And then you're going to take on this chisel, you're going to lift up the brush and get just the last little bristles to pull the stem only halfway in. Then here you're going to be putting pressure and standing up to the chisel. Pressure, standing up to the chisel. All right. And then you pull the stem into those. And those are for those little one-stroke leaves. And I call them slider leaves because you're not making a regular stroke. You're sliding, pressure slide. Okay. So let's wipe these off. And I say practicing leaves are really nice when you practice them right on your project. But practice them here first a little bit till you feel like you've got that movement. And watch me now as I'm doing that also. I'm going to put magenta in the center of here. A little bit of magenta. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. All right, and I can put citrus and a little moon yellow. And sometimes some white. So whatever your taste is on this. Little teeny bit. This could use a little white. See how that pops? Okay. So let's get our leaves in there. And so I'm going to pick up again on the 12. I clean the brush. I'm going to come here and load the citrus and the sap greens, picking up the pink, magenta. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is find these little spots here where we could use a leaf, okay? So we're going to come right in here. All right. You can put a little bit of moon yellow in a couple of these if you want to. See how I'm just going part way into the leaf? See my little fingers steadying me? I want to make sure you see this, that we have a point and two sides, all right? And you'll see that here's the point, 1, 2, and pull stems into it. Okay, I'm going to show you some shadow leafing now. And so you can pick out any color you want to use in this painting that we've used. But I'm going to show you, we have floating medium in the middle, and that's what we use instead of water when we're painting. And we just dip in it if we need to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off some of that excess paint. I'm going to grab some of that medium, which we don't pick up medium that way, but we do when we're doing shadow leafing. So I'm cleaning the brush out into the medium. Do you see that? I'm wiping that off, and then I'm going to pick some more up and make sure that it looks like a shadow, not a stroked stroke. Oops, I just picked up sap when I went across there. So there we are. All right, so now to finish our project off, we do these little shadow leaves in here. And I've used lavender and pink. There's all kinds of colors, or you can just, this is the dirty brush from right here. And you also pull a stem into that. Okay. I had so much fun today sharing how easy it is to paint these flowers. They turned out gorgeous. Remember, practicing on the reusable teaching guides right over my strokes gives you so much painting confidence. Thank you for joining me here in the studio. And remember, we just learned one more of the flowers from the A to Z one-stroke floral painting sets. And I would love for you to take pictures and share them on our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group by hashtagging Let's Paint Challenge. Come on, everybody, let's paint.